Are you having a hard time finding something like a Jeep Wrangler or maybe an SUV you could pull? Well, stay tuned. If you're a solo or a couples camper, you might like what you see here. Hey everybody, Josh RV Nerd out here getting soaked today at Bish's RV, getting you some footage of a little Bushwhacker 17 FD. This is a rear queen bed with a front dinette, kind of a middle kitchen bathroom sort of hallway scenario here, no slides, crazy stupid lightweight. The maximum full weight of this with cargo is less than 3,300 pounds. So once again, if you're gonna stay local, more flatland, like you got something like a Jeep Wrangler or something equivalent like a tow package SUV, like 3,500 pound capacity and up, theoretically, this fits within your limits. Now, if you want to go cross-country through high winds and hills and dales, yeah, you're going to want something with a bigger tow rating, but even a lot of tow package SUVs that are like 4,500 pound rated should be able to tow this one around nicely. It could work great as a solo camper, you and one of the pets, and you know, like your pet parakeet that you didn't teach to swear, but it always swears or whatever. I'm not saying, I'm just saying I have a family member that swears that, but never mind. That's my life. That was an interesting Christmas, by the way. Everyone's saying grace, and here's the parrot with a foul mouth. That was interesting. Sorry. You could use this as like a couple's model, maybe a small family model, because that front dinette can fold down into a little sleeper as well. All aluminum skeleton, not like built over the top, not equipped over the top, but lightweight, lower priced, easy towing, simple camper, not fancy pants, jazzy shoes, glamper. It's got a couple hiccups and hangups, and I'll tell you one of them right away. It's a good thing I was wearing this hat. The door is not as tall as most RV doors, and I hit my head twice on this thing walking out the door. I think that's something that you get used to. And as you can see, we've got rain dropping on the camera, making everything looking foggy and weird over here. So I hope you appreciate the fact that I'm out here risking getting the Rhone ammonia to get you this footage today.
All right, we're gonna do the old dry the camera with the shirt method, and
I'm recording, aren't I? Now, one of the hardest parts about me making this video today is this is a small camper. It does not have a lot of big, wide open space, and I don't use a wide-angle lens normally. In my little quick floor plan and a flash footage, I did give you some crazy ultra wide-angle stuff just to help you kind of be able to see how the entire thing lays out. But, you know, if you were seeing it in person, it would look more like this, and that's kind of the look that I want to give you here. Now, one of the things that's a little different on these is the overall ceiling height. And actually, I don't think you can get a good understanding of that. Let me flip around the camera. So if you look real close, you see that you can actually have both male pattern baldness and a bad hair day, which is very much affecting me today. But more to the point, I myself am just slightly over 6'1". With the boots I'm wearing, I'm probably about 6'2" right here. And my head is touching the ceiling pretty dead on. So like this ceiling speaker, this ceiling light right here, I turned it off with my head. Hold on. I didn't think that was going to work. My point is, it's not a full 6.5 foot interior height kind of camper. It's also not an extra tall outside camper, which is also kind of cool. They don't use roof air conditioners. They only use these side mount airs right here. There's no options on these. They're all built one way, the same way every time. Punch them out like a cookie cutter. They do include, though, the big XL vent fan up here, which, you know, so you might say, well, it's not in the kitchen, it's not in the bath, it's in the middle of a tiny camper. It's in everywhere. It's like, you guys remember Ray Stevens? Santa Claus, he's everywhere. By the way, as a small kid who was a nerd that hadn't come out of his shell yet, I discovered when I was young that Ray Stevens was like a gateway drug on your way to Weird Al Yankovic. I don't know how else to say it. Now, around the corner over here, that's where we're coming in. I mentioned this has a short door. Remember how tall I am? I really have to duck in that door. Now, I'm a tall guy. I'm used to ducking to get in and out of camper doors. I haven't hit my head on an RV door like in years, like in many years. This is the first time I've done it, and I did it twice. So it really is much shorter than what I am used to. Up front here, we've got that dinette. You know what? I think 4 adults on a rainy day could squeeze around that and play some cards. Board game, build a puzzle, whatever the case may be. But thankfully, This is a very multifunctional object. As you see right here, that can obviously fold down into a sleeper. There is storage below those benches as well, which is great. But one of the things I think is really cool on this is you do not have to use it like a dinette. I think what I would do with this RV, I would take the posts out of this RV. And I know I say this all the time if you're a regular viewer, but this RV, it really feels super, super applicable. I would take the posts off the bottom of this table. I would screw on the bottom of that existing table a set of folding legs to make the table free floating. Because one, you could kind of cheat, you know, like if you're thicker around the midsection than my wife and kid like I am, it's nice to be able to scoot the table. The other thing is I could take that table outside and use this like an open lounge, and that extra space would be really, really nice. Now, the facilities in here are very, very basic. That's a simple traditional microwave, not convection. You know, it's just a 2-burner stovetop. They don't do any option swaptions, anything like that. If you notice in here, yeah, the storage in this is very limited. The interior storage in this is extremely limited. That is definitely one of those points of consideration I want people to understand before they get too invested in this thing right here. Now, that fridge, it's like one of the sizes of a bigger fridge in an outside camp kitchen. It's 3.3 cubic foot of storage, cold storage. It's also 12 volt, which is it was a pleasant surprise for me. I believe last year those were 110 only. I could be mistaken on that, but those are a small 12 volt fridge. They're doing some nice things where they can in the right places. Now, this is a wet bath model, meaning the toilet and the shower are one in the same. You could do the 3 S's. You could sit there, you could shower, you could shave, you could flip your bacon and eggs all from that toilet. I don't know why anyone would want to do that, but the fact is you probably could. I haven't checked. I suspect there are some TV hookups up around this corner, and I am not correct. Whoops. All we have over here is the analog furnace controller, and then just the plug for that side mount air conditioner. These are all sealed edge press membrane countertops, by the way. Bluetooth AM/FM stereo with a little HDMI input, so I guess you could put yourself a TV up there, maybe a little streaming TV. A little camper like this, I cannot imagine you want to spend a lot of time in it just watching TV, but on a rainy day like today, that might be a little bit of a godsend. Oh, no, actually, I was accidentally correct. I accidentally failed this task successfully. Yes, there are TV hookups right there. I just have to crane my stupid neck around enough to take a look at that. All right. So this is, as we see it, a Camp Queen bed. However, you might notice there's a little bit of a gap at the top and bottom of this. Because this RV has that odd 6'9" body width, it has a wall measurement side to side interior of 78 inches. Now, a true queen is 80 inches long. I'm estimating here, I think you could probably shove a true queen in there, and it's going to be, I mean, if you look at the available space, you're going to have to wrestle that thing like Steve Irwin wrestled a crocodile, my brother. But fact is, I think you could do it, and it would just kind of be squishy and a little puffy on the ends. It just might be a thing. So this is a good model, like I said, for a solo, or maybe a couple, or maybe you've got like a kid or a big dog for the weekend for the front dinette. What if you're a family? Well, good news. They make one for you too. It's called the 17BH. It's basically the same size. What they're going to effectively do is where this one has a dinette in the front, it will be a set of bunks, one over the other. And then there's kind of like a fold-down dinette that you would convert into the probably the adult bed. Maybe, maybe not. I guess you could do it however you wanted to in the back. And wouldn't you know it, I've got some footage of that. It's a 2022 copy of that footage, but if you want to just kind of see what the floor plan's about, they still build it. I'll leave you a link for that in the description. Take a look at that if you're looking for something for just a couple more bodies, or maybe just look at a different arrangement around the same size if this one isn't exactly tripping your trigger. What? I'm always curious about the origin of language. Trip your trigger, we know what that means. It sounds like, I don't know, military. What's the origin of trip your trigger?
Now, one quick little note here. These are known as the Bushwhacker Plus because they do everything the smaller Teardrop Bushwhacker series does, plus just a little bit more. They're plus a little bit of size, and they actually have laminated walls, whereas the traditional Bushwhacker series actually does not. Now, they both have an aluminum skeleton for their walls, their roof. This one just happens to have laminated sidewalls. The floor decking on this, by the way, the floor is not laminated. It is a wood stud floor, wood joist technically would be the proper way to phrase that, and a 3/8 floor deck. So it's not a laminated floor. I don't believe this should be something where you got to worry about soft spots developing. It is also a narrow body camper. If I back up a little bit here, that Catalina over here, that is a 7.5 foot wide camper. This Bushwhacker is 6'9" wide. So you can kind of see some of the difference right there, pretty darn obviously. Now when we look around a little bit here, once again, the overall exterior height on this is nice and low. Some maybe HOA areas, depending on the size of your garage, you might be able to squeeze this into your garage or behind the house so it's not visible. So, you can still adhere to your HOA agreements and all that kind of stuff. Very traditional water heater, no options of any kind from the factory. What it does have, though, is a simple side mount plug over here. If you want to get a portable solar panel, you could do something like that. Leave this thing parked in the shade. We've got Westlake radials down here. I do like, actually, that it does have a full hot-cold outside utility shower. That is a nice find right there. And, of course, you've got that inflated teardrop size and style. Now, I'm wedged in between a couple campers here. I can't quite squeeze the whole thing into one shot, but I think you get the idea. One of the things you might notice, though, no rubberized roofing on this. Now, you still have seals that you want to maintain, but there's less exterior maintenance on this as a result of the fact that it's just a full fiberglass exterior. Now, if I get down here and let my knees start popping and locking like a hip-hop dancer, and I apparently stick my umbrella in the upper right corner of the screen, you see that under that bed in the back, it's basically a full junk in the trunk storage system, which I actually think this one maybe has the most outside storage of any of the Bushwhacker family of campers that I've seen so far. Now, as always, trying to tell you the good with the bad. The baggage door that we saw on the poop side of the camper over there is smaller than that one. That is a bigger baggage door. I kind of like them both to be the same, but I do think you'll probably use it on this side a little bit more, so maybe the bigger door makes sense over there. You do have a spare tire mounted underneath. You can kind of peek that down there. The brake lights, though, are mounted really, really low. So, basically, they're not as visible. That being said, this thing is so narrow, chances are whoever's behind you could probably see your actual vehicle's taillights too, but I don't know if that's true. I'm just estimating. We do have rear stabilizer jacks. It does not have fronts. Fronts could be added. They're just not there from the factory. It's kind of interesting here. They do what they really need to, but they don't do anything they don't need to do. Like, the sealed hinges are nice, but they're not using slam latch doors. They're using normal butterfly twist lock doors right there. There's nothing wrong with them. They do the job. And that's kind of the mindset here. It's another good example of a camper that's simple where it should be and fancy where it could be. Now, I gotta say it, I've been thinking it ever since I first saw these things. I can't see the name Bushwhacker and not think of this right here. Can anybody out there leave me a comment? Do you even know what I'm referencing right now? I'll give you a hint. They had green tongues, and I always licked little kids on the head in the audience. One of my very favorite tag team wrestling groups growing up. Second, maybe only to the Legion of Doom. Axe and Smash. Yeah! I don't know what it is, man. That takes me back to my childhood. Anyway, when you're ready, we're ready. I'll leave you a link in the video description. Check out some other Bushwhackers. Also, to check pricing and availability on these little suckers, whether you're curious or whether you're serious. Give us a call. We do it all, except for hidden dealer fees. We don't do that. So take care. Stay safe. Have fun. Stay dry, everyone.